In the humid forests of Satsuma, a young samurai named Jiro stood over a fallen training post. He was physically strong, yet his mind was a rebellious servant that refused to obey his commands. His master, the aging Lord Kaito, watched from the shade of a nearby pine tree. "You are defeated, Jiro, not by the sword, but by the negotiator who lives behind your eyes," Kaito whispered. Jiro believed that to be a warrior was to have strong muscles. He did not yet know the Second War. Every time you delay a task, you are surrendering your throne to a primitive, fearful subject. Chapter 1. The Trap of the Second Thought. "Tell me," Kaito asked, "when you wake at dawn, who decides when you rise, you or the cold?" Jiro looked away, for he knew he often waited for the warmth of the sun before moving. "That hesitation is the birth of the traitor," Kaito said, his voice cutting through the air like a blade. "When the sovereign issues a command, the body must move before the mind can offer a counteroffer. Modern men are exhausted because they spend their lives in a state of constant internal bargaining. They ask their feelings for permission to be disciplined, but feelings are fickle and cowardly. To obey the self is to kill the why and replace it with the now. The samurai practiced the rule of the first breath. Move while the lungs are still filling." The next day, Kaito led Jiro to a busy bridge where travelers, merchants, and animals crossed in a chaotic flow. "Sit here," Kaito commanded, "and do not move until the sun touches the horizon." As the hours passed, Jiro's mind became a marketplace of distractions, urges, and complaints. His knees ached, his stomach growled, and the negotiator offered 1,000 excuses to leave. "This is the test of the empty well," Kaito whispered as he walked past his student. "The world will always shout, but the sovereign mind remains a silent room with locked doors. When you ignore a craving, you are physically rewiring your brain for absolute authority." Jiro stopped fighting the noise and started treating it like the wind, audible, but powerless to move a mountain. By evening, the marketplace was quiet, and Jiro's mind was as still as a frozen pond. He realized that his mind only disobeyed him because he had given it a seat at the table. "Before moving forward to the topic, I just have a single request from you guys. Just do at least one comment and let me know that you liked the video or not. Just a single feedback from you guys can motivate me to make more of these videos. Thank you for your support." Back to the topic. Chapter 2. The Sovereign Stroke. The next test was not a battle of brute strength, but a test of the immediate response. Kaito held a single dry autumn leaf high above his head, letting it flutter in the restless wind. "When I release this, you must strike it before it touches the soil," Kaito commanded. Jiro felt the negotiator rise again, calculating the wind speed and the weight of the wooden sword. He realized that if he waited for the perfect moment, the leaf would already be lost to the earth. "Do not think of the leaf," Kaito whispered. "Become the hand that issues the decree." Kaito opened his fingers, and the leaf began its erratic, spiraling descent toward the grass. Jiro didn't wait to feel ready. He didn't check his feet. He didn't ask his mind for permission. He became the sovereign, issuing a silent command that bypassed the brain's internal debate. The wood met the leaf with a sharp snap, severing the thin stem before it could drift an inch lower. The two halves of the leaf fell separately, landing in the dirt like two broken promises. Jiro stood in total, effortless stillness, his heart beating with a rhythm he had never known. "You have tasted it," Kaito said softly, "the moment where the servant finally obeys the king." But this was only a moment in a field. The real war was yet to begin in the world of men. "One strike does not make a sovereign," Kaito warned. "It only proves that the throne is empty." Chapter 3. The War of the Mundane. The following week, Kaito gave Jiro a task that seemed insulting to a man who had split a leaf. "You will clean the monastery, draw the water, and mend the fences without a single word of complaint." Jiro felt the negotiator return with a vengeance, mocking the simplicity of the labor. "This is beneath me," the voice whispered. "I am a warrior, not a servant. This is the dignity trap, where the mind uses pride to avoid the discipline of small actions." Kaito watched as Jiro moved slowly, his movements heavy with the weight of his own resentment. "You are leaking energy again, Jiro," Kaito observed as he walked past the kitchen. You are fighting the broom because you think you are too big for the task. Every time Jiro grumbled internally, he was picking up another stone of useless burden. He realized that the Ronin he would one day face was nothing compared to the Ronin in his head. To obey the self meant cleaning the floor with the same sovereign intent as fighting a duel. He stopped trying to finish the work and started being the work itself. The exhaustion that had plagued him for years began to evaporate as the internal friction died. By the third day, Jiro moved through the chores with a terrifying silent efficiency. Chapter 4. The Seal of the Sovereign. On the final day of the month, Kaito led Jiro back to the edge of the silent, grey southern sea. "You no longer move like a man who is being watched," Kaito noted, his voice blending with the tide. Jiro felt a strange, cold power in his limbs, the power of a mind that had finally stopped talking to itself. The Negotiator had starved to death in the silence of the mundane tasks and the focus of the fall. As he had bridged the gap between the thought and the act, he was now a single, unified weapon. "Most men live as a collection of parts," Kaito said, "but you have become a sovereign of one. To obey the self is the ultimate freedom, for it means you are no longer a slave to your own moods." Jiro realized that the exhaustion of his youth was simply the friction of a soul divided against itself. He looked at the master and bowed, not out of habit, but as a king acknowledging a teacher. The samurai path is not about the sword. It is about the command that draws the sword. Go now, remove what is of no use, and let your first breath be the only law you follow.